Hello everyone and welcome back. My name's dustinkreis and it's been a while. It's been a while since I posted my last video. My computer has been in the shop and I got hit with a couple viruses, got them cleaned out, got my computer back up and running, so we're all good to go. So let's do a movie discussion and let's talk about, of course, the big movie that just came out here recently, The Dark Knight Rises. And I feel kind of conflicted because I feel like I should address you know, the elephant in the room with the terrible tragedy that happened in Aurora, Colorado. But on the other hand, I don't want to give that worthless piece of shit what he wants, which is more people talking about him and talking about what he did and things like that. I just want to say that it was a terrible tragedy that happened out there. And, you know, we go to these movies to escape the real world. We want to go there, we want to be entertained, we want to see Batman kick ass, we want to see all the gadgets and all the, all that stuff. We don't go there to be terrorized, and it's an unfortunate world that we live in where, worthless shits like this would do this to just innocent people who want to enjoy a movie. So if anyone else out there is getting the urge to do a copycat like he did, just do us all a favor and put the gun to your own head, pull the trigger, and save us all a lot of grief from having to deal with your fuck up. So that's all I want to say. Terrible tragedy out there, and I really hope that people can find some healing here soon. But I don't want to spend time on that because, like I said, the news media has given that horrible asshole everything he ever wanted by just covering the hell out of him. So he's the most famous guy in the world right now, so hooray for him, right? Fuck him. Anyway, let's talk about the movie. Let's get back on a positive note and let's talk about this movie. I love what Chris Nolan has done with the Batman franchise. He took it into a very serious and a very realistic world, and just made it like every other superhero movie look silly by comparison, especially the older Batman movies. Not the Tim Burton ones. I still love the Tim Burton ones, but man, when Joel Schumacher got a hold of that shit, he drove it right into the ground. But, even like the old Spider-Man movies, the old Spider-Man movies, now we got the new Spider-Man movies. Even the Spider-Man movies kind of look a little silly, The X-Men movies definitely look kind of silly compared to The Dark Knight. Because what he did was he took the comic book world that we're all familiar with and really infused a lot of real-world issues into it. So I'm a big, big fan of Chris Nolan's Batman series. And this one did not disappoint. There was one sort of nagging feeling I had during it, but we'll talk about that here in a minute. I'm not going to talk about the story. Just to know that the story is fantastic. By the end of the movie, my wife was crying, it's a really emotional story. Ties into the first movie, making a complete trilogy. Just brilliant all-around stuff. The acting, of course, Christian Bale as Batman, I am the Knight, back in action there. And really enjoyed his performance in this one, especially as Bruce Wayne. This is a much more vulnerable Bruce Wayne than we've seen in the past. 8 years has gone by, and it's been 8 years since the last sighting of the Batman. So he's not been on top of his game and not keeping up with his regiment, and he's a little soft around the edges. But it's still the old Batman that we know and love. Really, but of course when we talk about these movies, Batman is always sort of the constant. What we always talk about is the villains. And Tom Hardy as Bane. Holy shit. That fucker can act with just his eyes. Just his eyes, because of course he's all covered up with a mask. And just the ferocity in his eyes is just amazing. And of course, he has a couple lines that, of course, are not funny when you put them in context, but it's just the way his acting, Sometimes I can separate the acting from what's actually going on screen and really enjoy the performance. And his Bane does not disappoint. The Bane that was in Batman and Robin, fucking terrible. Bane has a mind as well as brawn, and this is definitely a great incarnation of the comic book character. Anne Hathaway as Catwoman. Now, when I saw pictures of Catwoman in the those low res pictures from the set, all that stuff, I thought, oh my god, this is going to go downhill so fast. She's got huge high heels. She's got these little ear things on her head, and it just looked ridiculous. In the movie, when you see her in the movie, it looks so much better than those fucking pictures ever made it look. The ear things are actually her goggles that flip up, so it makes it look like cat ears. I thought that was really brilliant to sort of call back, like the comic book, and this is going to be the thumbnail. I just know it. Callbacks to the older movies, just the character herself who always had those ears in the comic books. And it's a fun thing when she flips them up. You're like, oh, I see what you're doing there, but I was really surprised with Anne Hathaway, man. She really knocked it out of the park. I was like, really? Princess Diaries? Gonna be Catwoman? Okay. But I'm not gonna doubt her skills anymore. Really a great interactions between her and Christian Bale. They really sell the Bruce Wayne, Selena Kyle, back and forth thing, Batman, Catwoman, like we, saw in Batman Returns. Really did a nice number on that. Other characters, of course, you have the great Gary Oldman playing Commissioner Gordon. Really one of the... He and Alfred, played by Michael Caine, and Lucius Fox, played by Morgan Freeman. That is like the sort of the conscience of the movie. And those three characters and those three actors, they couldn't have found better people to play those characters because, if Bruce Wayne didn't have those three in his corner, it's very easy to see how he would just go completely off the rails. But they really kind of ground him and keep him sort of centered and everything. So with those three actors, great stuff. The new people that come in, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, great in everything I've ever seen him in. If you've never seen the movie Brick, go out and get that movie right now because he is phenomenal in that. And I never would have thought that the kid from Third Rock from the Sun, which I hated that show, will just become one of my favorite actors here recently. And I just think he's fantastic. I never remember how to say her name, and it's eluding me right now. But she plays Miranda Tate in this, and it's like Marion Coulthard or something like that. I can't remember right now off the top of my head. But she is fantastic as always. She was in Inception, which she creeped me the hell out in Inception. That was just such an amazing performance. But very nice as well. I'm feeling like I'm missing somebody here. Somebody that's a big part of the movie. But I just got done seeing it, like literally came home and had to make this video, so I'm really excited. But yeah, the only thing that I didn't really, it's not really a gripe, but I felt like the Joker in Dark Knight, The Dark Knight, was just so much more of a threat. And that's crazy to say, because the stuff that happens in this movie is so big. It's like, it's kind of mind-blowing to think that, they almost got away with it. But for some reason, the Joker in The Dark Knight, whenever he was on the screen, you were just so tense because you just never knew what was going to happen. I never got that with Bane, and that's kind of unfortunate because he really is a powerhouse to deal with. I mean, he's just like a beast. I mean, there's a time where he and Batman are fighting towards the end of the movie, and it literally sounds like Batman is fighting a panther. Like, just how crazy he's getting fighting him. But that's just the thing about the movie. Like, the Joker was just such a wild card that, and the way Heath Ledger played him, he was on the screen. You couldn't take your eyes off of him. But at the same time, you didn't want to watch. You just never knew. And it was just so tense. I would still say The Dark Knight is the best movie of the trilogy. It's kind of like a Star Wars type thing where Empire Strikes Back was the best one. But this one is a close second, followed by Batman Begins. I don't know what it is about Batman Begins, but like after The Dark Knight came out, Batman Begins just kind of felt a little cartoony to me in places. Maybe it's because of the big collateral damage towards the end and how it kind of got a little CG heavy. That being said, this movie is kind of a direct sequel to Batman Begins. It really feels like Batman Begins and Dark Knight Rises are the two main stories for this, you know, and then the Dark Knight itself is sort of like, I don't know how to put it, but it's just one of those things where it's just like, you know, there's such a connection between those two movies, and the Dark Knight really kind of stands out on its own, a story of like escalation and just how fucking bad this could really get, you know. And I still think that the Joker is sort of a just a more deranged and more scary villain, because even with Bane and all the crap that he's doing, there's a thought process to it, and there's a, you know, there's not so much a reason. You'll see why in the movie, but it's more of a calculated thing, whereas, you know, the Joker is just like a fire. Once it starts, it's going to spread, and you just never knew. You're always tense with that. But fantastic movie, fantastic series. A little long. There are some certain places where I saw things where I was like, well, you could have cut that out and still kind of got the same impact. But, you know, like Lord of the Rings, it's the last one. Let's go out with a big bang. And yeah, it's a long one, but it's a very good one. And you know, I really hope that people do go out and see it and watch it and are able to enjoy it and able to separate it from what happened, because what happened had nothing to do with the movie itself. Okay. I mean, like I read somewhere, like, what if it happened during the Katy Perry movie? Would people be like talking about the Katy Perry movie? You know, it has nothing to do with Batman, and it has nothing to do with The Dark Knight Rises. So I really hope people do go out and watch it and are able to enjoy it, because it is a very awesome movie, and it actually leads to some very interesting places. Like if they decide to maybe continue the series with a different director in the same universe, they could totally do it. I'm not going to say anything else, but they could totally do it. But that'd be an interesting thing. I'd actually really like to see that. So yeah. Anyway, that's my thoughts on Dark Knight Rises. Can't wait for it to come out on Blu-ray so I can watch all the bonus features and watch it over and over again. Watch all three of them in a one-day event. That'd be great. But like I said, I still think The Dark Knight is probably the best of the three. But this one's a close second. So, alright guys, let's see. What else do I got coming up? I'm going to be doing a pickups video here soon. We're getting towards the end of the month. Got another game I'm playing. I got something else that I'm going to do. I might just shoot that video here next, and I want to keep that in its own thing. So, anyway, that's my thought on Dark Knight Rises. Let me know what you guys thought of the movie. I don't really want to hear about, like, you know, the stuff that happened, because, like I said, the news media is just making a star out of that guy, and fuck him. So, but anyway, let me know what you thought of the movie, and you know, hopefully you guys enjoyed it as well. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Take care. I'll see you next time.